Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. Yes, it's 150 years ago now since Lewis Carroll first brought out the book in the middle of 1865. But John Tenniel, the illustrator, was not very happy with the printing, so they redid it, and later in the year the books actually came out. And since then there have been many, many versions of the books. This is a very fine version of it, for instance. But then there's a most interesting idea here where they went back before the book was published and did a reprint of the very earliest text. This is Lewis Carroll's own writing with his own illustrations of Alice. A lovely idea. And it's pages and pages of his text, all written in very neat writing. And then in the centenary of his birth, which is 1932, this was brought out where they did a very nice touch here. There's a picture of Alice as a lady of 80, which she would have been by then, and her son interviewed her at length, and she gave a wonderful account of her memories of those magical days in 1860 when she was on the River Cam with her sisters and being told the story for the first time. Professor Laithwaite, who I've known, who was at Imperial College, did a series of Christmas lectures on physics, and he used some of the icons really from the story, such as Tweedledum and Tweedledee, talking about parity, his lectures to illustrate and make them a bit lighter for people to enjoy. So many, many, many books, serious ones, but the children's market is even bigger because there are so many children's books, especially pop-up books, on the theme of Alice in Wonderland. And this one is, I think, my favourite one. It's got the most wonderful pop-ups. Now, a child will go straight into that and get right in the middle of the story with a picture like that, so three-dimensional. And then the last one is even better, I think. All the cars going mad at the end of the story. Wow. So dozens and dozens of books on them. Then the world of non-books, but other things, for instance, here's a little Victorian peep, a Stanhope, and in it, when we look up to the eye, there's, oh yes, Alice in Wonderland series, The Man Has a Tea Party, and that's exactly the illustration that appears in the book by John Tenniel. That's superb. And then there's a children's set of tea, like a doll set, to reproduce a little tea party of The Man Has a Tea Party, and there's a nice book which just has the words of the chapter which includes the description of The Man Has a Tea Party, which goes with it. That's a nice idea. And much bigger top. This is associated with The Man Has a Tea Party, but actually there's illustrations from all over the books. A teapot, sugar, and a little milk jug. Each of them has wonderful illustrations taken from the books with all the pictures of the animals involved as well. The white rabbit here has got an extraordinary series of numbers there which doesn't quite go in order, so, but that's a Man Has a Tea Party for that, I suppose, you know, I've no idea. Here's a necklace with little trinkets hanging from it, which you'd wear up here, but if you look carefully you'll find the little trinkets, little charms, actually contain a series of little items from the book. Brinkley, that one says. There's a chair there, a spoon. Ooh, there's a white rabbit. Well, there's a silver rabbit. There's a whole series, it's quite rich in detail, of little scenes, little bits of some of the artefacts that appear in the book of Alice in Wonderland. There was a charity event near me about 5 years ago where they reproduced the Mad Hatter's Tea Party underwater, just for a bit of fun. Here's a girl, an actress dressed as Alice, desperately trying to drink her cup of tea underwater. There's a cup and saucer. Wonderful idea. It's such a popular theme, this. And I think my favourite one of all these bits of paper involved with Alice in Wonderland is this one done by a friend of mine, Steve Wagner. He shows the Cheshire Cat, well, the family of cats, because it obviously comes from a family, and there's 5 cats there, but when you change the pieces round, as you do when you've played around with this geometrical vanish, one of the cats disappears and becomes just a smile. Isn't that wonderful? That's my favourite optical version of the missing area paradox. So, back to the book. I feel I must have another read of this book and look forward to another 150 years of Alice in Wonderland.